Hello, my name is Xavier Mercado, and this is Spearhead Conversations. Today, I'm joined by a special guest, Martin Moore.
Ooh, I like how you just said my name.
He's a content creator. He's a radio host, and he works for one of the best homegrown companies in our great state of Wisconsin, Koss Audio Engineering. But I've been following this guy, and the energy he has, it's unmatched. I've been excited to get in the same room with him and just pick his brain. I asked if he would come on. He agreed, and here we are. So without further ado, how you doing, Martin?
Thank you for having me. I agreed after a week of your message sitting in my inbox and Facebook Messenger because I don't go on Facebook anymore. So like I never. If you saw the notifications I had in that thing, and then I saw that and I was like, ooh, this guy's not gonna. He's gonna think I'm trying to like big time him. Or,
yeah. Well, you know what I mean. This is what it is, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. I'm excited
for sure. I appreciate you coming on.
I can't wait to talk about when we get into gas prices, the weather. Real deep stuff.
For sure. Yeah, man. So how you been otherwise, man? What's life like?
Busy as always. Last year, me and my wife just finished all 50 states, so got a little tattoo in Honolulu.
Nice.
We visited all 50 states in under 10 years together, so that was pretty dope.
Gotcha.
Other than that, just working.
Well,
hustling.
Like I said, I've been following you. You're radio station host. You work for Koss, which is.
I got my podcast.
I admire the headphones he has hooked me up with, and content creation is your thing, man. So you ready to jump in?
Absolutely, let's go.
All right. So where were you born?
Milwaukee, but I grew up in Grafton.
In Grafton,
yeah. But I think I was born at St. Joe's. So
okay, gotcha.
If you want to get technical.
Well, you started out as a content creator.
Yes.
What inspired this type of move?
So I was actually, when I was in high school, my freshman year of high school, I wanted to be a carpenter. So my dad built our house. All the illusions I would do, like sawing people in half, floating people. My dad built all that. You ever go to Wisconsin Dells?
Yeah.
You know who Rick Wilcox is, the magician you see on the. So he's the guy that taught me. Him and my dad were best friends, and my dad made all his illusions. And so my dad was always in his wood shop making things, and I would watch him do that, and that's what I wanted to do. So my freshman year of high school, I took what I thought was like, carpentry 101 for a freshman. And then the second half of that semester, I went in, and my friends were gone, and I was like, where is everybody? And they're like, oh, they're in the autos class. It was like a split, like to see if you wanted to be like a mechanic or whatever. So I ended up getting sucked into cars and auto mechanics. So I got a job at Jiffy Lube when I was 17 years old, managed the Jiffy Lube in Cedarburg. Then I went to Honda in like 2001 or 2000 maybe.
Yeah.
And then I did that all the way till I was 37. So for 20 years, I was a master Honda mechanic, rebuilding engines, brakes.
Get out of here.
That's what I did from my senior year of high school till 2017. That's what I did. And then Koss found me on a YouTube video, one of my vlogs that had 56 views.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at Martin.
So for 20 years, that's what I did.
Man. So how did we make this? Because the research I did on you,
I spent a lot of money hiding anything that I had ever mentioned when I worked. Because when I worked on cars, one of the dealerships I did, I used to work at Schlossman's Honda City on like between Beloit and Oklahoma on Highway 100. And Brad Schlossman, who's the owner, he was always supportive of my vlog. And when they were tearing down the old shop and building a brand new shop, I said, hey, it'd be a really cool idea if like I vlogged this, because this was like right when I was in like the height of my vlogging. I was like, I'll make videos of the remodel, and customers can sort of come along on the journey and see why they have to sit in a tent and go to the bathroom in a porta-john because we're doing this new dealership. And I all of a sudden became sort of embarrassed for like working on cars, like letting people know that as my vlog started to grow and I gained popularity. So I spent a lot of time and money hiding all that SEO. So long-winded answer, that's why it was difficult for you to find any of that.
Okay.
Because I was living these two lives. I was doing my YouTube channel and all that stuff and commercial photography, and then I was a greasy car mechanic at the same time. And I didn't want people to know that because at the time I wasn't proud of it. Now I'm proud of it. But,
you should be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's skill. It's a skilled labor.
I'm a very blue collar.
But let's jump into what inspired you to start a vlog, content creation.
Sure.
What ignited this spark within you?
So I've always liked photography. I took photography in high school. I don't know what year it was, where like you use film cameras and develop your own film. And then I never really did anything with it. And then me and my wife took a trip. It was our first trip to Las Vegas, and I bought this little junky Kodak point and shoot camera. It was probably like 1.6 megapixels. And as soon as we're up in the air, I started taking pictures of the mountains and took all these pictures in Vegas. I started like filming myself and like talking to it.
Yeah.
Not realizing like one, why I was doing that, and two, that like that was vlogging and that was going to become a thing, you know, years and years and years down the road. And that sort of got me into photography. And so I got a digital SLR, started shooting weddings, started getting into commercial photography. And then one summer in 2000, I think it was 14 or 15, I had like no weddings that summer, no commercial shoots. And I was just in this super creative rut, miserable working on cars. So I went on YouTube and I put in Milwaukee vloggers, and like a couple came up. There was like a girl in like UWM doing like beauty vlogs and stuff. And I was like, this could be kind of cool. So I grabbed my camera, went down to Bradford Beach, kind of like talked to the camera, interviewed people, said, you know, what do you like about Milwaukee? And then it was so fulfilling once I edited that video. So the next day I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna make another one.
Yeah.
And then the next day I made another one, and then the next day and the next day. And I continued making a movie every single day, no days off, whether I was sick, whether I was on vacation, whether it was a funeral, holiday.
Yeah. Do you feel those were the barriers?
What were the barriers?
Time.
Oh yeah. Time for me has been the enemy of progress. There's a lot of things you can do and buy in life, but time is one thing you couldn't. And I found some great time hacks. I used to, for 5 years, I wore the same outfit every day. I wore these jeans, a black V-neck, the same shoes, the same socks, the same boxers.
Yeah.
Whether I was at a funeral, a wedding, an event, anything, it didn't matter. Same outfit every day, because when I didn't have to spend time figuring out what I was going to wear or to go to Kohl's and go shopping, that was time that I could spend editing videos, doing photography, being on podcasts. And so it was crazy things like that I had to do to get time back, or to manifest time that didn't really exist.
Holy cow. Talk about dedication.
I skipped my lunch breaks when I worked on cars.
Yeah.
I would wake up at 5 a.m., race downtown, film the beginning of the vlog. I'd have to be at Honda by 8, change my mechanic clothes, work on cars, noon, skip my lunch break, in my car, change back into my street clothes, go downtown, film the middle of the vlog, go back to Honda at 1, work till 6, change back into my street clothes after 6, go downtown, shoot the end of the vlog, go back home, edit from like 8 or 9 till midnight or 1 a.m., upload to YouTube, wake up at 4 a.m., repeat.
Martin,
repeat.
Breathe.
Repeat.
Breathe. Breathe. This man, the myth,
and
the legend.
That was just the vlog and working on cars. I was also shooting weddings and doing commercial shoots for a lot of the towers downtown. I was on podcasts. I was doing speaking engagements at Marquette University and for photography clubs and all this stuff.
How do you feel this has defined the character that you are?
I mean, I have an incredible work ethic, and I also have really bad OCD. So I'm a very organized person. But all that aside, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the work. I've never got stressed out. It completed me. It was like my oxygen. And I loved it.
How do you feel from where you started until now, the evolution of technology? How has that
great question.
Played a part in your success with this?
That's a great question. I really think, I mean, it's a cliche observation and comment, but the smartphone. You know, when I first started, I was shooting the vlog. I think I first started on like an iPhone 6, maybe, and the quality was just junk. So then I got a digital SLR with the Gorilla Pod and the Rode mic and all that, and the quality was outstanding. But as my iPhone started getting better and better and better, and then they came out with 4K, and the audio was getting better, it started to very quickly replace the crazy goofy camera that I would take everywhere. I would take on vacation and everywhere. And so the phone really, I think, was probably the biggest tool that I've seen that has made my life easier.
That's,
I think everybody's life easier. Everyone shoots everything on a phone now.
Well, I do a lot of my promos for my
all
videos.
My commercials for Koss are shot on my phone.
Look at that.
And people don't even know.
And that's the thing, like with the new cinematic filter and just if you know how to play with the camera with an iPhone, it's not about
the gear. It's about, I've always told people, I can tell a compelling story going to the grocery store, pumping gas. It's not about, as long as the audio is good, it really doesn't matter what the video quality looks like. If you tell a good story and the audio quality is good.
Thanks for telling me before I bought all this. No.
I mean, it helps. It helps.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just kidding. But well, you're home. You're homegrown Milwaukee in and out. And it's one of the things I admire about you. But another thing I admire about you is that you work for a company that is the same as well. And it is good old Koss with the headphones.
I love it. We invented the stereo headphone in 1958 here in Milwaukee. So every headphone you've ever had that has a left and a right here in Milwaukee, invented by Koss, which is
through Koss,
which is a huge deal. Back then, the only way you could listen to music was monophonically, and that it was very similar to when we went from old tube TVs to 4K. It was like you put these headphones on. And all of a sudden, the flutes were over here, and the violins were over here, and the voice was in front of you, and the bass was behind you, and it really felt like you were at a live concert. And that was a massive, massive deal. And it's great to work for a company that was the founder of such a massive innovation that we all take for granted now.
Yeah. How did your paths cross?
So they had a new Bluetooth headphone that were coming out, and they wanted like a commercial and some photo shoots and stuff done for it. And somehow they found me on one of my YouTube videos that had like 56 or 65 or something like that views. Found me. I think they emailed me. I don't think they slid into my DMs. I don't think that was a thing back then. And said, hey, we'd love to work with you. And I met them, and I started making content for them for maybe like a year and a half, and they became a client of mine. And then around 2017 is when I got really depressed working on cars and took a hard, long look in the mirror after. I mean, I would cry every day after work. I was so miserable with my job and my life. And I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, all right, dude, you got to make a change right now. And, you know, you've got a lot of notoriety in the city. You know, a lot of people, a lot of VPs and CEOs and marketing managers that you could put on a resume. I could create a resume and leave all the car stuff off there and still have, you know, a ton of accolades and projects that I've done and people that I've worked with. And so I asked my current boss, hey, could I like throw you as a reference on my resume? And then like he emailed me back in a panic, and he was like, well, we don't have any jobs right now, but why don't you come in and meet everybody? And I was like, okay, I wasn't asking for a job. And then went in there and like basically just transitioned to an interview, and then they hired me.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It was the greatest day of my life.
Well, yeah, I was
other than my wedding.
I was actually going to ask, what was that feeling at that moment you knew you secured a job?
In the actual moment when I was there,
you didn't know.
It was great. Mm-hmm. But once I got home, God, I mean, it makes me emotional right now. I'm trying to not be a little.
Go ahead, let it go.
But when I got home, I remember I called my mom and I told her, and I don't think I've ever sobbed like that in my entire life, because when someone has a dream and they work so hard for it and they give up their sleep, they give up their friends, you give everything to try and achieve this, and then you finally get it. Yeah. It overwhelms you because you're so proud of yourself. The thing that you were trying to run away from, you know, is no longer a problem in your life. You know, it was very emotional. It was very emotional, in a good way. It's still, I think about it today. I never, ever, ever forget how hard I had to work to get to where I am today. Yeah.
How would you describe the atmosphere at Koss?
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. It's, everybody has a voice there to give input when we're designing headphones. Everybody sort of, there's a lot of, we all have sort of our roles, but there's not really any like guardrails. Everybody sort of crosses over and helps each other out. It's a great culture. I love it. I couldn't imagine working. I don't ever want to work anywhere else.
Well, you have loyalty to this company. And how many years have you worked all together?
7.5 now. I started in May of 2017.
Okay.
So this past May, I just had my 7-year anniversary, if the math is correct.
If you could pinpoint why your loyalty is so strong with Koss, what would that be?
I believe in the brand. I mean, if you just take away the fact that they saved me and gave me an opportunity, I mean, that's a big one right there. But I never wanted to work for a brand where like I was making videos of, you know, people making snowmobile handlebars, or like to have my first job out of working on cars be a company like Koss that has such a legacy and such an important stance in the audio industry, and as a local Milwaukee company, as an electronics tech company, like. Yeah. I mean, of course, loyal isn't even the word. Like, it's perfect. it's like a marriage. Like, I don't look at it as like I owe them something, or all I want to do is just be a part of the company and be a part of their success and promote it, because I believe in it so strongly, and I believe in the people that I work with. And
well, let's do this for Koss.
Oh, I love it.
How do you feel Milwaukee is attributed to your success?
This city and its people. So I've been to all 50 states and virtually every major city. And I don't, this is like no hyperbole. Like Milwaukee's like top 5, top 10 city in the United States. And it's not because we're on the lake or we have great restaurants or beer and cheese. It's the people here. The one thing that opened my eyes when I started vlogging was I got to meet people and interact with people from every corner of the city, not just downtown. And it really made me realize just how intrepid the people in this city are. And it's been so inspirational. And I see people that, and have met people that have come from way less than I did and had to work way harder than I did. And so it never crossed my mind to ever complain about my situation, or I just followed their footsteps and just worked and believed in myself. And the people in this city really inspire me. And there's so many amazing people in this city. There's so many people that like talk crap about Milwaukee, and it infuriates me, because it's like they see such a narrow view of the city. And I've had the privilege and opportunity over hundreds and hundreds of videos of seeing Milwaukee for what it really is, you know?
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite part of Milwaukee?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't want to say the lake, because I literally love the lake, and if I could be a fish, I'd be a fish. So my favorite like experience or like
both.
I mean, my favorite experience is MK Boat Line and getting cocktails, getting on the boat, going down the river under the home bridge, and then out into the lake. And then it's just complete silence, and you see the whole city from afar. And it just really makes me appreciate where I live. I always tell my wife this every time we're on it. I was like, we live in a city, like we're on a vacation, but we live here. We live in like a vacation city.
Can I just say something? The pictures you take, you make it seem
all my iPhone.
Yeah, no, I know that. Now I do. But it really makes it seem like these are pictures from another place, and it's here.
It's here. This is your city.
You know, and this is
we're blessed. We could be living in Wichita, Kansas, or Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, I love both those cities, but
this platform was founded on
it's amazing.
Speaking about Milwaukee, because man, I've had people with the stereotypes, like, you know, trying down this city, and it's just
it drives me.
The diversity here.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love how diverse this city is. I thrive on it. I thrive on being in places where I'm the minority, or I don't know. That's one thing I really appreciate about the city. One of myriad things I appreciate about the city. Yeah. The other thing too is downtown, there's so much opportunity downtown, whether it's making connections or getting a job or going to school or whatever. We're very fortunate that Northwest and South are so close, and Milwaukee downtown is so accessible that, you know, if you want to try and get out of an area that maybe there isn't as much opportunity, it's right here. You know, you don't have to go drive. There's a lot of people that live in the middle of nowhere, and they're not close to opportunity, you know? Yeah. And so we're very fortunate that we have a very tight city.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. I'm trying to figure out how to articulate that.
We're small walkie.
Yeah, yes, we're small walkie.
Well, you are a man of many traits.
Sure.
Content creation, mechanic.
Sure, puppeteer.
Cause.
Just kidding.
I get it. But you are also a radio host.
Yes. 620 WTMJ.
Where does this come from? Where does this curveball? How did paths cross with that?
So Steve Scaffidi, who I used to be on his show when I first started, I had met him when he was the mayor of Oak Creek, Milwaukee. And
my wife, listen, now that you said that, my wife listened to that show.
Oh, did she?
And she actually, when I first, is he still on the radio?
Yeah, he only does an hour though now. I don't know what time slot, but.
She reached out to him to try and get him to come on here.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people on planet Earth. He's just a great, super intelligent
and he's
guy.
early morning, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so let's get back to your story,
Sure.
But that's cool.
So anyways, when he was the mayor of Oak Creek, he was doing, what was it? It was called like the Mayor's Fitness Challenge. I don't know what it was, but at the time, there was a healthcare system in Milwaukee. He was a client of mine, and I was shooting photos, met him. Anyways, fast forward, he just like emailed me out of the blue and said, I'd love to take you out to lunch. We're trying to find new voices on the show. Would love to have you on mine. And so then I did the show with him for 3 years or something like that, maybe 2 or 3 years. Then COVID hit. Then I wasn't on for like a year. I tried to do it in like this cardboard box in my living room with like a blanket in it that I like stick my head in, but it was just too tough. And so I was off for about a year and then got back on with him, and then they moved to the new studio in 3rd Street Market Hall, and then Jeff Sherman asked if I wanted to, go on his show, and so I've been doing that for, I don't know, 8 months maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I used to do TMJ nights. I do the night show. I've hosted, if someone can't, if they're sick or they got a kid thing, I'll host a show. So
man,
I kind of weave in and out of different roles in there, but I love it. Radio is one of the best skill sets I've ever learned is from radio. Like the ability to, when you're talking in front of 500,000-600,000 people and, someone asks you a question, you have to be able to think in real time, have an opinion in real time, have something smart to say in real time, and be articulate in real time and entertaining in real time. And once you sort of develop that skill set, it translates to so many other things when you're speaking to other people, when you're talking to friends, when you're talking to family. It is, I owe so much of where I am now to the radio and my ability to just talk and articulate and hold conversations and genuinely care about what people are saying.
How has it impacted your life in and out?
The radio?
Yeah.
Massive. I used to be one of those people that just all I wanted to do was talk. All I was doing is waiting for my turn to talk. You were talking, I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
But on the radio, when you're interviewing people or like my podcast, you have to actually care. And so that, and then I did this other exercise where I didn't talk for a month unless someone spoke to me.
Yeah.
Those two things made me genuinely care about what people were saying. And so it made me develop this system of being able to ask like really deep questions. Like if you and I were just getting drinks, the questions I'd ask you'd be like, man, that's a great question. Man, that's a good question. And it's just a great skill set that I learned from the radio.
Yeah.
I love it.
Man.
And it's something that you can't go to college to learn that.
No.
There's no YouTube video that's going to teach that. It's just all comes from experience.
Yeah. What's most important to you when you the way you connect with your audience?
Entertaining them. One, people live really tough lives, and content is a way for them to escape, whether it's music, a book, video game, this podcast, an Instagram reel, a TikTok. Making people laugh and feel inspired and feel hopeful and sort of forget about the negativity in the world and whatever stresses are going on in their life, and just be a positive impact to 1 or 1 million people. That's the ultimate goal, and that's what I hope to sort of achieve when I'm trying to connect with people.
Yeah, man. Well, what has been the most thrown off guard moment you've had in radio?
Oh boy, that's a great, my goodness. Man, there's very few questions that like I have to think about. That's a great one. The most thrown off guard moment or question?
No.
Moment?
Off guard moment.
It was the first time that I ever hosted the night show by myself.
Oh.
And they called me in. It was like last minute. And they sat me down in front of what I can only describe as like the cockpit of the space shuttle. And they had like 5 minutes to show me how to like go on the air, how to go to commercial, how to take phone calls, how to read texts, like everything that goes into a 3-hour radio show. Mm-hmm. And I had zero training, none. They just sat me down and I had no guests. So it was just me talking to myself in front of 500,000 people for 3 hours. And that was very, very, very difficult. And it caught me off guard because I thought I was prepared. I was like, man, I can roll. I can freestyle.
Yeah. Nah.
And it completely caught me off guard. It was tough.
These buttons.
Imagine this.
Yeah.
The listeners can't see the audio set up here. Imagine this, but with like 10 more of them and then like 4 computer screens.
Oh, for sure. I've been to 103.7. I've been to
you know radio stations.
Yeah, 99.1, 105.7. Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like similar, this podcast has made you a better listener, a better storyteller, better at asking questions?
Of course.
Do you feel like you care more about what people are saying?
From the process of how I write the questions to just having to come up in spontaneous spots, like just kind of like, off the drift. Like I do look at this notebook. Yeah. It calms me while I do the interview. Yeah. But for the majority of the time, there's a lot of these questions sometimes come off just impulse.
So I mean, how many episodes of this have you done?
I am at about 100 and
so a lot.
10. Yeah, I've been releasing weekly content since August 4th, 2022.
Okay.
It's been.
So do you ever go back to your original ones and listen to yourself?
Oh, definitely.
Do you hear a difference? Do you see a difference?
I have all the notebooks with the questions, the way how they were written. I had a good buddy of mine. His name's Seven. He's the creator of a clothing brand called Finna, and he came over. I just purchased my own home with me and my wife, and I had finally, it's all together. So I had him come over. And we were talking for a while. We were outside in my backyard. Come to find out, this is the childhood home of Steve Novak.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's in there. And then we got to talking about the podcast and how's it going. And he's just like, kind of similar question you just asked. And I'm just like, hey, well, let me show you the notebooks. And you can see for yourself. And it looks nothing like now.
Is there a moment, because I know my moment, is there a moment throughout this journey of doing the podcast where like you listen to one of your older, I mean, I don't know how often you listen to older ones, but you listen to one and you go like that little section right there, that 6 months or 8 months, that's where I feel like I grew, I changed. Like that's where I hear myself now and see myself now. Like that was sort of the moment where that.
Well, there's been a lot.
Is there an interview that's or a summer that sort of.
You timeline it. And there definitely, I could pinpoint what I was going through, how I was going through it. But yeah, for the majority, it's been a lot of learning about myself, and it's the growth and the connections I've made with the city. Yeah, I love it. But back to you.
No, look at me trying to spin it so I don't have to. I hate talking about myself.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
It's
like find that shocking, but like I hate being around people and I hate talking about myself.
Well, this is your moment. Well, what accomplishments and milestones stand out for you?
I mean, obviously my job.
Yeah.
It costs. Accomplishments and milestones. I think one accomplishment that I was really, really proud of was like the first long movie that I made on my YouTube channel. Up until the movie was called How I Started Vlogging, and to this day, that's basically the moment where like I can go back. That's as far as I can go back, where I don't roll my eyes and want to like puke at like watching myself and hearing myself. But I always wanted to make like a long sort of documentary is not the word because it's only like a 15 or 20 minute video, but sort of a history of myself and my relationship with my wife and how I got started in doing what I was doing. And when I completed that, it felt so good because I was like, I'm no longer making these short little 6-7 minute YouTube videos. Like this is like a movie, like a proper, there's B-roll and there's music and there's all these cuts and stuff. And I was like, man, if I can do this, like what's the next thing I can do?
Yeah.
And so my videos just got more substantial and bigger and longer, and the stories got better. And I just started getting, that's where I saw my confidence boost. Like I can watch my early videos, my first 100 or 130 videos, and I can see I'm not confident. I can see I'm pretending. And that was a big accomplishment for me, was getting that one out, and getting such a great response from the people that watch my content.
Man. You a superhero in this city.
Definitely, there's real superheroes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give you a tape though.
I just had a dream and chased it.
There you go. Well, you've definitely been a success. Let's talk about your podcast.
Ooh, okay.
What is the name of your podcast?
Said No One Ever.
Said no one
ever. And I unfortunately, once I started back on the radio again, the podcast has been silent.
Yeah.
It's every month I'm like, oh my God, I got to get the podcast started up. I got to get it fired up. Because I have everything for season 4, all the episodes that I want to do. Mm-hmm. But I just need to get off my butt. And I'm just so busy. And
decisions.
And it's tough too, like being on the radio and, doing podcasts like this. It's like, it's a lot of brain power. It's being on it's a lot. And it's like to throw a weekly podcast on top of everything else that I'm doing I just don't want to be on. Like I got, Fallout 76 I got to play and Starfield. And
what is the podcast about?
It's basically, it's a show. I have a different guest on every show, and the guest could be popular or they could be an absolute nobody. But we basically talk about things that you never knew you wanted to hear about. Mm-hmm. And hopefully the goal is I always wanted to do a podcast, but I never wanted to do a podcast in the typical format that everyone else does. I wanted to try and reverse engineer it and start. A lot of podcasts are predicated on the guest, like you have whatever Tim Cook on, or you have Jay-Z on, or whatever, and people watch it for just the person. I wanted people to be interested in the show for the topic, and then hopefully by the end they liked me and they liked the guest and they liked the show and they came back.
Yeah.
And so we've had, what were some of the good ones? You're Gonna Die Someday. Steve Scaffidi was on that, just talking about what it's like as you start to get into retirement years. We had one of my friends, DJ Shauna. She was on for That's So Gay. Just talking about LGBTQ culture. We had Congenzi and racism. Should we get rid of the penny? What are some other crazy ones we've done? Hustle porn.
Dang.
All kinds of just bizarre. There's no theme to the show.
Yeah.
And by the time you're done, you're just like, man, I didn't know I want to know about hustle porn, or man, the penny. We do need to get rid of the penny. And so,
well, man,
why would you ever want to have kids? So that was another one.
4 seasons?
Yeah, this season 4. Well, I'm praying I'm going to start next year and it'll come out. Yeah. But it's really, really good.
How many episodes per season?
I usually do like 12 to 14.
Okay,
so it's pretty fun.
Well, man, just talking with you, getting to know who you are, it's a legacy you're building. What do you hope when it's all said and done, the legacy you want to leave behind?
There's not so much a legacy that I want to leave behind. I guess the 2 things I want to leave behind are my journey, which people will be able to consume if they want to through my YouTube videos and my podcasts. I want to leave that. And then I just want to inspire other people. I've been so blessed and fortunate for the insane amount of opportunities that I've had. And all I want to do is just pay back the people who helped me, the models who modeled for me for free, the people who had me on their podcast when I was nobody, the people who were in my vlogs that, were a big deal. There were so many people that helped me out to get to where I was. I did not do any of this on my own. And so if there's an opportunity for me to help out someone with their podcast or their vlog or their YouTube channel or their new album or whatever it is, that's what I want to do, whether it's mentoring them, whether it's hooking them up with headphones, whether it's giving them advice, being on their show. All I want to do is just help other people. And hopefully they do the same if they have the opportunity to reach and achieve their dream.
Man,
I have really long-winded answers.
Man, it's great.
Can I just say one thing about, this is one thing I did want to say on the show about, because what's sort of the theme of this show?
Journey and success.
Okay.
It's
I I always looked at my journey as in my life is like, this is going to sound bad, but I promise there's a point to it. It's the Titanic sinking. Okay. And my dream was to get onto the shore, so I didn't drown. And in between that boat sinking and the shore were all these like little lifeboats, all these little opportunities. And there was, 2,000-3,000 people swimming for their lives who would gladly get into that lifeboat, take that opportunity and get into the next lifeboat and the next lifeboat to get to the shore. And the one thing I never did was pass up on opportunity. A lot of people have said, not even to just me, but they'll look at a lot of people who are successful and they'll say, well, they're so lucky. And like for me, luck is just a byproduct of people taking advantage of opportunity. I never passed up. Sometimes I would do free photo shoots. Sometimes I would, just do free stuff, or I would discount jobs or photos or whatever it was, or, make a vlog for a company for free because that would get me to the next lifeboat and the next opportunity and the next opportunity. And there's so many people nowadays with how quickly, everybody wants such quick success. They want to get out of high school and then they want to be, a multimillionaire, drive a Lamborghini, be a TikTok star with 1 million followers. And it ain't like that. And so a lot of people, I think, pass up really, really good opportunities for some quick success or trying to look for a cheat code. And there just is no cheat code. You got to work, put your head down.
No shortcuts.
And you have to love the grind, whether you achieve your dream or don't.
Yeah.
Because there's two kinds of people. There's people that, they're pulling a slot machine lever and they want to win the jackpot. And then there's people that just enjoy pulling the lever. You got to be that second one that just enjoys sitting in that seat, smoking your cigarette, drinking your rum and Coke, and pulling the lever. If you're chasing the jackpot, you're going to get burnt out and you're going to run out of money.
Yeah. Well, with all this type of passion, this drive, this ambition in you, where do you see yourself in the next 5?
Living on a cruise ship?
He's like,
no, working for Koss, doing my stupid Instagram reels. Hopefully still doing the podcast and radio. I'm really in a spot now where like I've caught my carrot. I'm happy. I'm not really chasing anything else. And so I just want to worry about my health, my nieces and nephews, and helping other people and just sort of enjoying the decades worth of not being able to enjoy my life. When me and my wife would go on vacations, it was content. She'd take a nap or we'd be on a boat and I was filming myself. I was never present. And so now just being present for not only myself, but for everyone around me.
Gotcha. Well, we always work ourselves up to this question. What advice would you give for aspiring content creators, people who want to be in radio, entrepreneurs, podcasters? What advice, all in whole, would you give?
Do what you want to do. It's so easy in the rat race now to be influenced by whatever medium you follow. If there's a radio host that you love, you want to be like them. There's a vlogger you love, you want to be like them. There's a TikToker you love, you want to be like them. There's a rapper you love, you want to be like them. Do what you want to do, not what you think is going to be popular. Because as soon as you start following other people or following trends, because trends burn out, you're never gonna be happy. And I've known too many people and seen too many people that do that, and then they burn out after 6 months, a year and a half. If you want to be a puppeteer, be a puppeteer. If you want to be a trapeze artist, be a trapeze artist. You want to be a painter, be a painter. But don't chase something just because you think it's going to be popular or easy or get you some street cred or clout. Do what you really want to do, no matter how crazy or ridiculous you think it is. And I think any person who's found success in life will attest to that. Because when you do what you love, it's not work. It's it's like breathing.
Oh yeah, I believe me doing this.
No stress.
I can totally salute you on that one. Well, man, it has been great.
We're done. It goes quick, doesn't it?
It goes by quick, man. What are ways people can connect with you, man?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
You can find me on the internet. If you just put in Martin Moore, I'll be the first one that pops up. But if you're using a VPN, you can do @Martin Moore Jr. I hate the junior. You can send a carrier pigeon. Doesn't matter. You catch me at Aldi on Port Washington Road, whatever. Stop by 3rd Street Hall and knock on the glass like I'm a monkey in a cage when I'm on the radio. Whatever. I'm always here to meet people and connect with people. I love people. So
That is.
And just don't message me on Facebook Messenger because it's going to take me a week to get back to you.
I can attest to that.
Right.
But I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on.
Out. Hey, no, man,
this was fun. I hope I didn't sound like a bumbling idiot and there's some bangers in there.
Nah, man, it's just you're a part of this journey now. You're a part of the legacy of what this is to come. We've had big names, and here we are with another one. Everyone is the same under this umbrella.
Yes.
I appreciate you again.
I got to get you on my show.
Hey, we got to, dude.
I don't know what we'll talk about, but
hey, I'm for it.
Yes.
But with that being said, Spearhead out.